Welcome back to Missouri River Bottom for episode 3. I'm BP and we're starting in October today. Last time we knocked out a few contracts, added a few sheds, and started our cattle farm. Today we have a lot of harvesting to do. So today all of our fields are ready to harvest. We also need to complete a couple contracts to get some money back in the bank, because after paying on our 2 loans overnight, we're down to $1,000. So let's start by getting this guy up and running. And let's go take a look at what we have to do today. So the good news is, when we left off last episode, we had our beef cattle in the pasture and we didn't have any grass. It is starting to grow. It's not registering as meadow grass yet, but I'm confident in the next couple of hours or even by tomorrow morning it will be. And as you can see, the cows are plenty happy running around. In regards to our fields, we just set the harvester off in field 17 right next to the farm. We'll get the truck over there to help collect that and get everything into our corn dryer. We also have field 18, our little cornfield up top that's ready to go, and field 11, which is our soybean field, is also ready for harvest. So let's get everything set up and running on field 17, and let's jump out and see if we get into any contracts or anything else today. I'd like to pick up a different truck and or trailer so we can more efficiently utilize our silo and corn dryer. As we discussed last time, this truck does clip the top of the dump area, and that's not what we're looking for. So we're going to go ahead and I think what we're actually going to do is drop a waypoint in over here on the actual field, or right next to it, so we can run this guy on course play to get back and forth to the field. So, drop a waypoint in there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. That's connected up there. I think we'll just have him swing out this way, come back along the field. We'll call this spot right here field 17. And then let's loop him back and have him connect right over here. Now, if we set him right here, we should be able to get him on course play. And auto drive. So let's go ahead and make sure he knows which field we're looking at. Alright, so he's got that. Go ahead and set him up for combine unloading. And then over here on auto drive, let's get him set up to collect at farm field 17, to empty at our farm silo, and we are getting corn today. So now, theoretically, he should run without us needing to get involved and should empty the combine harvester. And then when he's full, take it over to our silo to empty. Okay, one thing I realized as I was setting up this morning, we got all this straw off of our last contract, a little over 2 million liters. It doesn't fit in our silo, and it'd be great to get this into our barn. Now, the challenge is this trailer's too tall for our barn. So we need to find some way to store the straw until we can get it into a trailer that works. I have a mod in mind It's under silos. And this silo, where'd it go? Oh, maybe it's under sheds. No, it's got to be under silos. Right here. This is a modified silo that will hold crops, including straw. It's actually a multi-fruit, and as a production will produce some goods we need around the farm. Obviously, we don't have the funds for it right now, but as we go on throughout the day and maybe get a couple contracts done, maybe we drop this somewhere where we can start even being able to look at some TMR or some silage production. This will help us make seed and fertilizer as well. So I think we're going to work up towards that today. So speaking of contracts, we have a couple of options here. Let's see. We got some great plowing contracts, 136,000 each. 136,000 for this one, 122 for that one. That would certainly get us going in the right direction. We have a harvesting contract for 93,000. Here's a harvesting as a cotton contract. I wonder if we should put that guy on a worker. You know, for $863, it wouldn't be hard to get that machine up there and go from there. The bales do have to come down and go to the sell everything. So actually our bale sales down by the animal dealer that we put in last episode. So that's pretty nice. So let's see, maybe we get this guy going. Oh, actually that guy's right next to it. So this is an even better contract. 142,000 just popped up. We have 148 as well. So we can actually get both these contracts, lease one set of equipment, and get both those contracts done and make some pretty good money. So that one's 843 to lease. This one's 843 to lease. Let's start with, let's lease this one. Borrow the items, yes. And then let's pick up this one. Okay, great. And we'll leave that for right now. Let's jump over to our equipment. Oh, we still have our shop delivery in the middle of this field from last episode. So I'm going to jump in this guy. Let's send him up to the field. That's going to be waypoint 51 and get him moving that direction. We'll just let him run in the background today while we're harvesting all of our fields. And by the same token, let's get this guy up and running and send him up to field 51 as well, so he can be ready to pick up some bales. Alright, off to field 51 for you. Okay. So while they're driving up there, should check the sale, see if anything's come up that's worth picking up today. Start at the bottom, and now here's the funny part. For 169,000, we could have our own cotton harvester. I don't think that's gonna be much use. I don't plan on doing cotton, even with the Colossus. That's a bit of a challenging crop to manage and make profitable. JCB 4000, that's nice. That's a great tractor we could have around the farm to do some work with our cattle, you know, work the feed wagon. So that's something definitely to keep an eye on. $107,000, not a big deal. Once we get a couple contracts under our belt, and most of this stuff is still hanging around from the last couple days. Still love this truck, would love to pick it up. You know, maybe as we get into a little bit more money, we'll have an opportunity to do that. Speaking of money, let's jump in and take a look at what we have in our silo. We have 114,000 liters of oats. Their price is coming down and wasn't that good to begin with. Sorghum, we have just under 100,000 at 95,000 liters. It's up to 437. Its max is 524, so it's getting pretty close. I do wonder what it would look like. When is sorghum supposed to peak? In January, so it still has a couple of months. But maybe we keep an eye on the sorghum as we go and just check on it later today and make sure that it isn't, sneaking up in price early in the year. We might be able to sell it and make a little bit of money because, as it is, it's already worth, $41,000 to be worth, $50,000 at its peak. So there's a little bit of money to be made there. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. The other thing we talked about a little bit. Oh, let's get this guy back on track. I think our fence must have gotten a little bit too close. Let's see what we can do here. Cut that row in a little bit. And we'll get this guy back on track. And harvesting away. I did set that worker up on 3 headlands with the corn header being a little bit narrower. Want to make sure we have plenty of room to turn around. You can see that fence for the cattle is pretty close. Should be fine after 2, but rather be safe than sorry and make sure he gets his work done. Let's check in on our cotton harvester. He's cruising along. He doesn't go very fast. Well, he's going to make it up there. And I'll check back in with you guys once he's up there and getting started. And it took a while, but we finally made it up to the field. Just looking for the field entry here. Still got a little bit of morning fog lingering around. But once we figure out how to get onto this cotton field, we will send this guy off and get him running and start our contract work for the day. I'm not entirely sure where the field entry on this one is. We may end up having to go down through the ditch. I'm just not seeing a spot along here where we can get over, so well, let's just head on in and we'll make it work. With a machine with this working with, I'd like to do 4 headlands. I'm not sure it'll let me do that, but we'll check and see. See if it'll let me get this horse set up. Well, is it going to struggle because I didn't... This is a leased piece of equipment. It should work for all contracts. It is harvesting. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and just see if we can't get... See, it's not recognizing the field we're in. Well, let's try holding the machine up and turning it off, turning it on, see if maybe that'll help. Going to be a bit of a challenge if we can't get this machine to work. Give it one more try here, and then I've got an idea. Yeah, I just don't think it's recognizing the field it needs to do the work in. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fold this guy up and put him aside. Not sure why he won't recognize the field. But what we'll do is head to the store And let's figure out what leasing a cotton harvester would cost us. Must have missed it up higher. Got grass, we got harvesters, beet, potato, vegetable, spinach, green pea. Here we go, cotton harvesters. So what's it going to cost to lease one of these to do the work? Leasing. Yeah, I know I don't have enough money, but how much should we have? We have negative $336 now. So let's jump in and let's just put $50,000 in real quick. We will come back here. We will lease this one. I do wonder. May as well lease this one if we're going to do it. Oh yeah, let's pop it out to 25 meters. All right. Give it some horsepower. Twin front's fine. The rest of it doesn't matter. We're just going to lease it. So leasing this machine is going to cost $19,431. We're going to go ahead and lease that because the other harvester wouldn't work for us. And then we'll come right back out here and we will return our balance to what it was before. Okay. Now we have a harvester. Let's see if this one's going to work any better than the last one. A nice looking machine. Go ahead and turn it on. Okay, and let's see if we can get this guy set up on a worker. He's only going to need to do 2 headlands. Yep, he's already recognized the field, so something with that other harvester, that other cotton harvester, just not recognizing the field. This guy up and running. And let's bump his speed up just a little bit. 21 miles an hour should be good. You can drive 25 in the field. Our usual 13 in the corners and 9 in reverse. Alright, he is off and running. That is great news. Alright, looks like we're ready for our first fill up. And I'm wondering if, yep, he doesn't know which field he's supposed to be in yet, so let's double check that. Field position over here. Escape. Yeah, I must have just timed out. Now, the other item we talked about last episode for the corn drying was we're going to need propane. And I'm not real keen on buying either a truck or a trailer that hauls propane because I don't think we're going to need to fill up that often. I think if we fill up once every 2 or 3 seasons, maybe if we get a couple more fields every season, it's a lot of money and resources tied up in something that we're not going to use. So I was considering either buying a propane trailer that would be like owned by the fill station and we could just go pick it up, sort of like a co-op scenario, or picking up a truck and having it be the same way. Just park it up at the co-op where we buy the propane and then using it whenever we need to. I did notice earlier today when I was looking through the sale, there is a propane truck in here. So it would be cheap. It wouldn't be a big deal to have it at the co-op. you know, we could just take the money and make it right. So this mod right here, $18,537. Nice looking truck. It holds propane. We could even put, you know, a co-op sticker on it. I do like the grill decals that come on this one. I think that's a, let's go back to this one. It's a propane truck, holds 30,000, could hold 100,000. I'm not real sure what the capacity on our corn dryer is. Will it tell us in here? What's the propane? How much propane can we have? We can have 150. So I think 100,000 liter tank would be good. It'd still take 2 trips to fill it up, but at least we wouldn't be going back and forth 5 and 6 times. So, I miss it back up here. Let's take a look and see if we can find that truck again. Oh, here it is. Okay, so as I said, put the co-op sticker on it. We should go grab the funds for this real quick, and we'll zero out the cash when we're done. So, real quick, we're going to buy this for the map. Put $25,000 in there. Go ahead and grab this truck. So BKT's XL, put the co-op sticker on it. Get the flag on there. Propane, take it up to 100K capacity. Now for trucks that are on the map, we don't want them matching our farm because they're not ours. So I think I might just leave it white. With the big tires, that does look good. 20,000. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. So we'll snag that real quick. That'll be down at the shop. Then we'll come back out here and real quick we'll reset our funds. All right, so there we go. We're all back in order. Oh, we lost this guy. Let's see if we can help him out a little bit. I'm not sure I want that bale in the river either. Alright, he seems pretty committed to being in the ditch. Not sure where he's going. Let's try to get him back on track. We've got crop destruction on, so whoever's field this is, I apologize. Oh, it's our field. How did he end up all the way over here? Wow. That's different. So let's just get him out of our field without ruining any more of our crop. I don't have any idea how he managed to get himself all the way over here compared to where he's supposed to be. I have to go back and grab that bale too, since it's nowhere near where it should be either. Which field are we headed to? Yeah, we're headed all the way back up over here. He wandered a long, long way from home. I don't know if I've ever had a worker that far off course before. Usually they get stuck on something long before they end up 5 fields away stuck in a ditch. So, looks like he made the first corner here. And then somehow got off track. So let's see if we can't get him back on track and maybe babysit him for a second and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He went way over there. He crossed the road, another field, a ditch. He was a third of the way across the map. That's crazy. Alright, well hopefully he's back on track. We'll come check on him. Now we have the propane truck. So The way this works, we'll end up parking this over at the co-op, the propane fill station, so it doesn't show up on our farm. And we can just set it right now to go over to the propane fill. So we have the propane fill station right here. See if we can get this guy going the right way. Let's get it going that way. So we'll park this guy up over at the propane station at the co-op. And once we get a little bit of funds in the bank, or a few more funds in the bank, we'll have him run some propane up to our farm. We'll pay him just like he was a service provider. We have a contract for him, and he'll keep us full whenever we need it. And that way we're paying for the actual propane, but the truck belongs to the co-op. I'm going to jump back over and check on that cotton harvester again and just make sure it's on track still. Well, so far the cotton harvester seems to be staying on track, which is good news. You can see the propane truck up there in front, off in the distance behind the trees, heading over to the propane fill station. I wonder if bale drop is not turned on, and that's what's messing with the harvester a little bit. Let's get up here to the corner, see what it does, and then let's switch it off and make sure we have bale drop on. Alright. Turn on automatic drop. That's what we need. I'm wondering if he got stuck with a bale in the chamber and couldn't figure out how to solve that problem. And speaking of bales, while he's doing that, let's run over here and let's grab that bale out of our field and bring it back so when the time comes we are not short a bale to turn in for the contract. I think that field was our field. Oh, we're going totally the wrong way. I turned around in the corn. This field 28 with corn. There's a lot of corn in this field. Maybe we'll pick up a contract on that in November. Here we are in our field, field 17. Our harvester seems to be making good progress. It has completed its 3 headlands, at least on this side. So it should be starting its up and down rows. The bale we took out should be right over here in this corner. There it is. We're going to go ahead and drop that. At least on the field. Maybe we'll just take it all the way to the cell station and turn it in. We'll use the bale pickup for the rest of them, but since this one has to be brought over manually anyways, maybe we just get this one knocked out here real quick. So let's see. Okay. Here we are. Right. Oh, we got some of the bales transported. That's good news. Cotton harvester still running. We like that. It's going to drop one with 1 row left. Couldn't help itself, could it? Just get out over here and we'll just move that out of the way for it so it doesn't have any incidents. And then hopefully once it completes this round, it should be all interior rows and should be good to go and couldn't give us any more grief. Okay, so we have our truck over here at the propane fill-up ready to go. This harvester's making good progress, almost 200,000 liters in the hopper now. We've got another load in here, so he'll get one more load before he goes and fills up. Still need to figure out how to get that straw over to the cows. Speaking of the cows, I wonder if that grass has come in the meadow yet. Let's take a quick peek. Still nothing coming in over there. If nothing's come in by the time we're done with a couple of contracts, we may have to go buy some grass or buy a couple of bales. You can see it is growing, and it may have to reach the second growth stage before it registers. And I don't want the cows to be without food for a full day, so we will figure that one out. Alright, so everything seems to be according to plan. We're in good shape. We'll stay in touch with this guy as he continues around doing his projects. I'll check back in with you guys when we have some updates on our contracts. We'll see you guys real soon. That's a wrap on our first cornfield. Head over, and I think we'll probably end up cutting the small one at the entrance to the farm by hand. I don't think it's worth setting up. We got 134,000 liters in here. We unloaded twice, so we're probably a little under 500 in there. I bet we're going to have close to 700,000 liters of corn total. Be a nice harvest, so get that into the dryer and go from there. So we got about 10,000 left after emptying in there. As you can see, we have the Deutz on the forest harvester picking up the corn straw. I have a lot of it after this harvest. And this field, I think, is going to be just a quick over and back. Maybe three passes. But not worth putting on a worker. One of the really nice things about the Colossus mod, because it goes faster than a normal harvester, they upgraded or they tuned the straw drop to start very quickly and keep up with the speed, so you don't end up with those huge piles of straw at the end of each row that make it hard for either a baler or a picker or a forage picker to get it up off the ground. You can see right here as you stop, there's the end of the straw row. And one row of shame right down the middle. I was looking at the map while this stuff was, all the workers were doing their thing in the fields, and it turns out the way we added the cow barn restricts our access to our soybean field. So we actually have to harvest our cornfield first so that we can get to our soybean field. You can see where the fence runs right down there and how we can't quite reach the field. And as far as I can tell, looking at the PDA and doing a quick run around, there's no road that leads to that field. So we are out of luck when it comes to getting there. So we'll have to watch our crop rotation and make sure that this field's always harvested whenever we need access down that way, or we could buy one of the adjoining fields to the soybean field, and that would give us road access as well, but don't like driving other farmers' fields if we don't have to. So this is full. Let's go ahead and get this emptied. Then we'll come back and finish offloading the corn from the harvester. We'll switch heads and head down to the soybean field. Let's go grab the rest of the corn out of the harvester so we can get the harvester on the soybeans. We still can pick up one more contract. We are limited to 3 a day, just so things don't get too out of hand. And I'm wondering if there'll be a good harvesting contract somewhere else that we're going to want to go pick up. Alright, let's get the auger tucked in. Give this stuff a quick wash. We can park on the corn header right over here between these two trees, just out of the way. Let's grab the grain header. Head down this way. Go get ourselves some soybeans. I think what I'll do is I'll toss this on a time lapse for the harvest. Well, we almost made it to the end. I wonder if I can manually wrap this one up. I think we're close enough. I think we get it all done without it empty. We'll have to jump over and get the cotton harvester switched over to the other field. Looks like it wrapped up over there. Once we get this field wrapped up, it's going to be awfully close. I think we're going to be about a half row short. Yep, more than a half row. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get the tipper emptied of the corn and bring it over and get this emptied out. I'll come back and meet you guys when we're wrapping up this field. We got our first cotton harvest contract done. Still have to collect the bales from the field over here. But I used that money from the first contract to buy us a new setup. So we're going to use this on a cattle farm. Should fit in the barn and be able to deliver food, straw, all kinds of things. So right now we're going to use it to unload the combine, because we're still having a struggle with our dump truck fitting in the silo to unload the corn. So we're going to run this guy over right now and unload the soybeans from the harvester so he can wrap up his field, and we can work on getting those Angus cattle some straw and some feed for today. Here we go. We'll unload 100,000 liters out of the combine. That'll enable it to finish up this field, and it will be able to take the rest of it back to the farm for us to deal with later. Let's jump over here. Go ahead and get some of this offloaded. That'll do. So the rest of today is going to consist of getting the bales off of the field for that second cotton contract, finding a way to deal with our straw, and getting our calves some food if the meadow hasn't grown in yet. And then we'll have completed a harvest for our first year on the farm. We'll have some field work to do over the winter. We'll have to get our lime production up so we can lime our fields. We're going to have to pick up a cultivator or plow combo to get the fields prepped for next planting season. And we'll have to consider whether we want to invest any money in paying off our loan or buying more fields. See what seems to make the most sense. So this field's done. We'll run the harvester back to the farm. We should bring the Deutz down here with the forage wagon to pick up all of this straw. And then we'll run our new JCB 4000 back up to the farm and get that unloaded as well. So we're in good shape for today. We could do one more contract if we wanted to. Might be worth picking one up just to have a little extra cash going into winter. I expect the contract to dry up pretty significantly, you know, as we get into the winter months. So maybe we'll pick up a third one here. There was a decent plowing contract earlier. We could always go back and check that one out and just see. Maybe we want to send a tractor over there and just let it run in the background for us. So I'm going to run back over and grab the JCB. Actually, let's just run up here and grab the Deutz first and get that started on the next farm. Or on the next field. Next farm. I think. I don't know if it's going to be 2 passes or not, but we'll go ahead and we'll run this guy. Can we get all of it in 1 pass? I'm not sure we can. Oh, looks like we might be able to. Not too bad. I think there was one little strip at the end there we're still going to need to go get. And this guy's getting pretty full. He may need to be emptied. One thing we can do, pretty sure this wagon has one more capacity on it. Might be worth looking to upgrade that real quick, just to give us the ability to finish our contracts before we have to put in a silo to hold everything. Let's just see. Can we... That's $20,000 we don't have, so the answer to that is no, we cannot. Okay. Well, we'll send him down here, and the good news is we don't have to get all the straw up today. We won't be replanting fields. Corn goes in the spring. We may do soybeans down here in this field. We may not. We'll have to wait and see what makes the most sense. The corn's given us a pretty good yield, and since we have the ability to dry it as well, maybe we just go corn for a little bit and see, you know, what that gets us. But we'll take a look and see when we're going to be back on this field. But we could leave the straw for a day or two and come back and get it later, you know, once we have a chance to settle. So let's get this guy on a course, get him working. Jump out of here. Oh, didn't want to grab that. Go run over here and pick up the JCB. This little JCB's got about 178 horsepower. This trailer is a little big. We'll probably end up upgrading the motor. Get up into the 200s and it should be fine. It does have narrow tires on it, so we can use it with our spreader for contracts for lime or fertilizer. We can use it in our own fields during the first couple growth stages without doing any crop destruction, which will be nice. So I think it's going to be a really helpful tractor to have on the farm all around. I think we'll really enjoy having it. I think we'll get a lot of use out of it. I do wonder if the cows are going to get any meadow grass today. Let's take another quick peek. It's been a couple hours, see if it grew in. Still no meadow grass, so we're going to have to find some hay or some grass for them to eat, and I've got an idea how we can do that here. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the silo, and then I'll jump back over. I'm going to collect those bales off camera, the cotton bales. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. And we'll just get that done and get that contract turned in. And we will go from there. So let's see how quick and easy it's going to be to empty into the silo with this trailer. This should be a push-off. So we shouldn't have any problems with the ceiling or any collisions. Yeah, nice and easy. Not a big deal. Alright, well, I'm going to grab grab something to go over and get those bales off the field, get them dropped off at the sell point, and I'll check in with you guys when the contract's done and we're wrapping up and getting the cows some feed for the day. That's a wrap on the last baling contract. Went ahead and turned it in and collected it. You may notice that we don't have very much money. Well, I went ahead and solved our cattle problem with the grass by buying an F450 with a gooseneck and a bunch of hay bales. This was the truck that was in the sale we saw earlier. The trailer also happened to be in the sale. The Prowler trailer is a great trailer. It's an excellent combination, this truck and trailer all around. So let's go run these hay bales back to the barn and discuss getting out of this episode. So we've completed the harvest on both of our cornfields, the big one and the small one. We completed the soybean harvest. We completed 2 cotton contracts, and I might take a look. Oh, there's a couple extra cotton bales. Guess I get to keep those. I guess, and so there's maybe a couple contracts left picking up, or take a quick look to see if it's worth picking up one more contract to do off camera between episodes, try to get our bank balance back up a little bit. But then we'll be heading into November, and I think contracts will be drying up. We'll be focusing on our field work, getting our fields prepped, mulched, cultivated, maybe plowed if they need them, and even get the lime done early so we don't have to worry about that. After that, we'll be heading into the winter months. We'll have to get some propane delivered in November to get the corn dryer started. As we said, we bought the truck for that. It's part of the co-op over there. Everyone gets to use it. You just pay for the propane as you go. We have 100 Angus beef cattle. I'd like to pick up a few more, so maybe we'll run another contract, and then we'll start next episode by running down and picking up a few more cattle for the winter, let them get fattened up in the barn over the winter once that grass gets growing. With it being November, we may not have a lot more time for grass to grow, so we might be buying hay through the winter. So we may have to try to find an alternative for that. Maybe try to see if we can pick up a grass field or a baling contract. Maybe we get some extra bales off of that. We'll have to figure something out just to see about getting the cattle fed through the winter. But overall, it's been a great and productive day. Got a lot done. It was a lot of fun doing that first corn harvest. We did learn that we have to get access to that lower soybean field. We're going to need to figure out how we're going to do that, whether we cut a road in behind the barn or perhaps buy another field, maybe even run some gravel in from one of the roads and get us some access. But we need to be able to get down there and access that field so we can plant it. Otherwise, we have to harvest this field up here by the farm first so we can drive over it and be able to access that lower field. So here we go. Let's see. I'm hoping this should have a bale trigger. Let's go ahead and pop out and just see how this goes. Lay the straps off. And there we go. So the calves have been fed. We started with that at the beginning of the episode, and we got through it. So they have 96,000 liters of hay. They're all set and should be good for at least a couple of months. The calves don't eat that much. So love that we got a couple new pieces of equipment on the farm. Got this great F450 by JJ with the gooseneck flatbed trailer. And then on the other side of the farm, we got the JCB 4000 with the Flegel push dump trailer. That's going to be our main workhorse for the cows, getting the straw in there, getting their feed in there long term, keeping them going. Just a great piece of equipment to have on the farm. So thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.